we're going to go over three main points here that cover what you need to make sure is in your program / in your workouts. Number one is that you should be lifting heavier. Heavier is all relative to what you are lifting. Heavy to some people might be 5 pounds. Heavy to some people might be just the weight of their leg. Heavy to others might be 65. It might be 120. It might be your body weight. There's a vast range of what heavy, quote unquote, is. The idea that you want to think about whenever you're lifting heavy is your rate of perceived exertion. What goes into this is how heavy do you think that this weight is? Now, I tend to use rate of perceived exertion in all of my programs for women out there, and this helps all the women to be able to program themselves with the weight that's appropriate. Now, it does take time to learn what rate of perceived exertion is. If you want more information, check out this video that I have on rate of perceived exertion and how to actually use it to make yourself lift heavy enough, but not get injured because you're lifting too heavy too often. The next thing to think about in this kind of what I need to get in my workout is core. Now, a lot of our core exercises, they can be integrated into our main lifts, but we also need some extra things. So with squats, you are working with core. With deadlifts, you are working your core, especially if you're getting into the heavier loads. Your core is probably the weakest part of your lift or the weakest part of your body, limiting the weight that you are lifting. And so think about these things whenever you are thinking about your core work. Now, do we also need extra things besides just our lifts? Yes, it's what I name accessory exercises, but they're basically not the sexy lifts. You need extra things added into your program that work on your rotation ability, your ability to resist rotation, like say like a pay-left press, your ability to move in a rotational movement against gravity, against more load. All of these things are great for adding into your workouts, and there's something that needs to get added into your workouts. As women, we are typically wider as a whole. We bear babies, or we're designed to be able to carry a baby. We are wider as a whole. And so whenever you have something that is wider, if you're standing on one leg, then you have to hold more load across your body, and that comes in with your core strength. Think about it as if I was holding something close to my body, a weight, and then holding something farther away. I'm going to have to hold that load harder. It's going to be heavier whenever it's farther away versus whenever it's close. But the actual weight didn't change how much it was. It was 10 pounds here and 10 pounds there. But I have to work so much harder when it's farther away. Same thing goes for our body and doing single leg exercises, other things like that, is that we have to have the core strength to hold if we are wider. We have to have more control in that so we can do things without injury and without having that being our lacking part. So if you need a kind of a video to check for that, I have some rotational core exercises here, and check it out, add those to your workouts. It's so important to have that as part of your program, part of your workouts. Last but not least, this one I think gets left out a lot in a lot of different programs because we want to do the heavier lifts a lot of times. And when we go to single leg exercises, ding, 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 that's what you need to do, then we don't want to back off our weight as much. We don't feel quite as good about ourselves. It's not pushing ourselves and our motivation to actually do the workouts and do the things. But single leg exercises they are a big component of your functional ability. We don't walk everywhere like hopping around using both legs. If we're going to pick something up off the floor, usually we have a little bit of a stagger stance. You're using one leg more than the other leg. We need this single leg exercise to help where you're not compensating. Because if you have a stronger leg, then you are going to compensate for your weaker leg, and that guy's going to fall behind. This will create other injuries, create other problems, knee issues, ankle issues, foot issues, hip issues, back issues. It just goes up the chain. Now, along with these single leg exercises, you need to do single arm exercises and making sure that your core, this is how you can actually even affect your core and do core exercises, with even a single arm push press. Now your body has to maintain. Instead of doing farmer's carries with both of your arms down by yourself, do one side of a suitcase carry instead of just a farmer's carry with both arms down. Do even like a 90-90 carry of having that hand up, and your core has to maintain that stability. And it works your balance. Balance is another thing that goes into the single leg exercise. Balance on a single arm, if that is a hands on the ground type position, and balance for single leg exercises. These help you to maintain where your knowledge is of where your body is in space. It helps with your proprioception. That's what it's called. These are different receptors in your joints and your muscles and your tendons and your ligaments that give feedback to your brain that say, hey, my elbow is bent, or hey, my elbow is straight, without me having to like look at it and see. And so doing these helps to keep your body, quote unquote, young in that proprioception, and helps you tremendously as you age. I hope this was helpful. If you are looking for a program to follow, check down below and add these things to your program. Make sure it's there, and it will help keep you healthier and also stronger as a whole. Bye, y'all.